Alright, so I want to make another video on a different subject than I did earlier. There was an article in Mishpacha magazine. It was like a counterpoint article about this movement of this, I would say maybe neo-Hasidus in the Orthodox world. That people from outside of the traditional Hasidic communities are drawn to Hasidus. And it's interesting to me, when I got involved in this world 15 years ago, more than that now, 18 years ago, and it was exotic at the time. It existed, but it wasn't as mainstream. It has become mainstream to the point where very few people question this anymore. But it's fascinating to me that there are still those who question it. And so there was a rabbi from Ner Yisrael arguing with my rabbi from high school, Moshe Weinberger, who wasn't the initial impetus to me getting interested in the Hasidic derech, but obviously had a big hashpah. Really, the first inspiration I had for that was, for the most part, more than anything, because I was always for a long time, I was very reluctant, and I had a certain opposition, which I still have, to Hasidus. Within myself, I felt, this wasn't for me when I was younger. And then when I saw the PBS film, which has inspired a lot of people who I know, the A Life Apart, Hasidim in America, it had a big impact on me. And I grew into the Hasidic world from there. And and I learned by Moshe Weinberger about a year and a half, a little bit more than that. And then I went to Eretz Yisrael, and in Eretz Yisrael, my first half year in Eretz Yisrael, I was more involved in the more neo-Hasidic, modern societies, the Karlbach and Kahana, and this type of approach. And then I wound up my second year being drawn more into the more mainstream Haredisha, particularly the right-wing Haredisha communities, Toldasar, and these type of approach, but not in an extreme way, in a healthy way, I feel. And I spent a lot of time in Toldasar and Toldasar Yitzchak. Silverberg, these type of places, and I got a lot of chizik. And I would go to nash around by different admorim, different rabbis, and kabbalah and things. And it was at the time that was, it was exotic. There were a few guys who were into it, but not. And and like I said, now it's become very, very mainstream in much of the Orthodox world, to the point where, it's just like everybody, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm a Breslover Chassid, and it's like, alright, I mean, again, I went to Uman, I learned Breslover Hasidus a little bit here and there. But at this point in my life, the Hasidic culture, it does it for me. I like it very much. But I spoke about, how I found yichus that I had from my family going back Rabbonim, in particular Moshe Ari Ostreicher, to his Edom, Moshe Chengerov, Moshe Spitz, who was the Rav of Chenger, was a big Yachsin, who was Einik Chavis Yor, and from the Shlag Kodesh, and Maharal in Prague. But this Moshe Ari Ostreicher, the crueler of the Berditchever, who I always felt in my heart a very warm place for the Berditchever, he came to him and he was afraid, Moshe Ari Kruler was afraid that he would become Hasidic, and he jumped out the window. And when I heard that, I said, I'm more impressed by an Ashkenazic Hungarian Rav who stayed true to who he was and didn't change and was afraid of changing, than if I would have had to, come from a Russian Rebbe who, with some of the more cult-like aspects. I really, and the thing is though, then learning about who the Chavis Yor was, to learn the Chavis Yor and his father, the Makar Chaim, and to see not only their writings in halacha, but how well-rounded they were, how heartsick they were, how much they were involved in poetry, in liturgy, beautiful, beautiful smiras, and poetry and liturgical writings that my ancestors wrote. And I realized, today people would look at this and say it's Hasidic, and it isn't really. It's just that's how Yiddishkeit was always, all throughout the world. By the Sephardim also, by everybody. They were, they were Hartzigiyidin. And their souls were on fire for God. And so what we would call today a Hasidic approach was mainstream Ashkenazic and Sephardic Judaism. So, all this being said, looking at this point-counterpoint, the rabbi from Ner Yisrael, I don't remember his name, he was saying, there's a problem if people, they just want to sit and have a kumsitz and this and that. And he's right. And Rabbi Weinberger said that too. Not to say that there's a problem to have a kumsitz every now and then. But if that's all Yiddishkeit is a kumsitz, I've heard Rabbi Weinberger, say that he didn't, he was opposed to this type of approach. So that's what I have to share. I thank you for watching. But if it helps us to grow in Yiddishkeit, in learning and davening, was nicht. Bisman hazeh, to just be a Shomer Shabbos is already a hoich madrega. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe.